Did I abuse ayahuasca? That is the question that I want to answer in this video, because recently I made a video where I talk about how ayahuasca destroyed me over the course of more than 50 ceremonies. And I went into depth as to my entire journey with ayahuasca. And the title was that ayahuasca destroyed me, but what I also share in this video is that it kind of rebuilt me. So it destroyed the old me, but it gave me the foundation to build the true me. And I got so many comments. I got so many comments, maybe 150 or 200 comments, where they were unanimously agreeing that I had definitely abused ayahuasca. And I feel like this video is quite important to make, because I'm afraid that many people, they see this video I made and they read through the comments, and then they get scared because they think that this is some kind of evil drug. I got a few comments that I want to read up here. So this guy, he writes, "The first thing that comes to my mind is it supposed to involve that many ceremonies? I mean, 1, 2, or maybe 3 can rewire your brain and open up the way you see the world, but after that it starts to destroy your brain cells, pretty much like LSD does. It takes around 180 days for your brain to recover the lost cells from just one session. If you're doing 50 or more, you're literally destroying your brain at a rate that makes you no different from a drug addict. I stopped around age 24, I'm 43 now, and still have the after effects from that time. I know I went too far. Maybe you have to accept that you crossed the limit." Like that, this is one comment. And then it's like 50 trips excessive. The soul pushes back 50 times. That is just crazy. I've done 8 and that is enough. The point is that they agree that I abused ayahuasca. And I really have to explain ayahuasca and why this is not a drug. There's such a big misconception that just because ayahuasca alters your mind or you see things, it's a drug. But you cannot compare ayahuasca with a drug like cocaine or meth or MDMA, ecstasy, or even weed, because those drugs, they're synthetic. Not weed, it can be actually nowadays. But they just come in and they empty your dopamine storage and they leave you in a worse place than you were. Ayahuasca is a plant medicine. It's not a drug, it's not synthetic. It's made from the ayahuasca wine and the chacruna leaves, and it's brewed by a guy in the jungle with love and intention. That's why you call it a plant medicine. It's a medicine, and it always leaves you in a better place. Always. Sometimes, I've had ceremonies where the following week was very tough, but then I understood that I had to go through this week of toughness because I had to integrate. It was like a way of forcing me to integrate. The day after, you're not like, ooh, like curled up on the bed as you can be with drugs. So comparing ayahuasca with drugs is like saying a jungle shaman is the same as the guy who's selling coke at a nightclub bathroom. It is 2 different worlds, and ayahuasca has completely changed my life and saved my life. And I want to explain why 50 ceremonies, or 54 or 5, how many I've had, is not abuse at all. This idea that you should only do it a few times and that's it is a huge misconception, because what ayahuasca does is that it deconstructs your mind. It peels back the layers of all the conditioning, all the programming that has shaped you throughout your life. And most of this programming is false, it's bad, it's not rooted in the truth. So when you build your persona around all this conditioning, then mostly you are just one big ego. Most humans, they are just their ego. They are their personality. They're not their true self. And same for me. So I had to go through many ceremonies to really get through this conditioning and the programming. For example, the first 3 ceremonies I had in Brazil, it was such a big cleanse. You know, it was just me understanding that there is joy in life. It was me really getting like a physical cleanse. Like the first ceremony was a big cleanse, and I just felt so amazing the following day. It was so amazing. This world of ayahuasca is just so unfathomable if you've never experienced anything like it before. There is no way to explain people what ayahuasca is if you haven't tried it yourself. So I think it's really important that if you have not tried ayahuasca, then try to be hesitant with sharing an opinion about it or being judgmental, because it doesn't really serve anything, because most people who have tried ayahuasca, they have really been helped a lot. And I think that this medicine should be shared with as many people as possible, provided that they're open to it. So for me, I had 50 ceremonies over around 4 years. I would have a retreat every 2 or 3 months, and I would have 2 or 3 ceremonies every retreat, and that would be over a week. And then I would have 2 months to integrate and process these ceremonies. And this was a really great way for me to transform. And while it wasn't easy, I could see how I was slowly peeling off the layers of bullshit that society had taught me. My values were slowly changing as I could see the things that were wrong in my life, the way I was seeing life, but also the way society is created. So with ayahuasca, there are many people who've had thousands of ceremonies. Thousands. Our shaman, he's done ayahuasca for the last 30 years and on a weekly basis. Of course, he doesn't drink as much because he's already very connected, and he barely just have to sniff it, and he's in another realm. Although these people who've done it so long, they are basically open in the sense that they're always connected. With every ayahuasca ceremony, you peel off a layer, and there are so many layers, but with more layers you peel off, you get closer to the truth, and you get closer to seeing through the illusion. And that's why if you stop at 3 or 4 ceremonies, for most people, you will only see a fraction of what there is to be shown. And sometimes you can have a big blockage that takes quite a lot of ceremonies to break through. And the reason why it takes a lot of ceremonies to break through is because the ego is sometimes battling the truth. It is scared of seeing the truth, and that was my problem. I needed a lot of ceremonies to find the courage to let go and see what the medicine wanted to show me. If I hadn't had all those ceremonies, I would have never gone to where I am today. And I still feel like I need more ceremonies and more guidance. Of course, integration is key, and this was also one of the things that I was struggling with, because my ego and my mind was conflicted with all the things that ayahuasca was showing me. It's like, no way this could be true. It was cognitive dissonance that even though it showed me all of this, it wasn't registering with me. So it took me a few years to really start to integrate and think about my actions. And I'm still struggling, but this is the point. And of course, we all have different paths in terms of our awakening. Some people, they go through just yoga and meditation, and that's fine. But in my case, I have been so brainwashed and so programmed that I needed all these ceremonies to break through. People say it's a shortcut to do these ceremonies, and it is. For sure it's a shortcut. But without this shortcut, I don't know how I would have ever gotten this breakthrough. If I had relied on meditation and yoga alone, impossible. Some people, we have such deep trauma, generational trauma, that you cannot peel through it without help from this kind of plant medicine. I really think that we should be less judgmental towards ayahuasca and this idea that it's abuse and you're a drug addict if you do it a lot. You cannot be addicted to ayahuasca. It is absolutely impossible, because as soon as the medicine gets a whiff that you're trying to exploit it or whatever, it will penalize you, it will discipline you. And it had disciplined me numerous times. I have had, in between ceremonies, I would have stretches where I would sabotage myself and do the things I knew I shouldn't have done to myself, like drinking or whatever, and I would be like, oh well, I have an ayahuasca ceremony coming up, that will reset me. And it would, but it would be very painful, and it would show me that grow up, take responsibility. All of these things that I am struggling with throughout my life. I really wanted to share this video to clear all these misconceptions. And again, the people who have bad experiences with ayahuasca, it's quite normal that you have a ceremony that can be deeply traumatic and even for a long time following. For example, my shaman, the first time he had an ayahuasca ceremony, he had the most horrendous experience. He called it the devil, and he didn't sit with the medicine for the next 3 years. He needed this extreme experience to somehow see clear, and eventually he came back, had another ceremony, and it was the most beautiful thing ever. Yes, you really have to have respect for ayahuasca, and you should not just do ayahuasca with anybody. You need to have a really good shaman. You need someone who can control the energy and protect, because if not, you can let in bad entities and demons. It is possible. If you do it, make sure that you are with the right people. Ayahuasca has been getting a bad name because of bad actors. There are many shamans who are just in it for the money, and that's all they care about, and sexual abuse and taking advantage of people by claiming that you have the answer. And that's something you have to be wary about. But it goes without saying, Ayahuasca saved my life, and I would not be without it, for sure. So that's all. Thank you.